Have you ever had a friend that you really liked at first, but the more you spent time with them, you started to see a couple things that bugged you, so that you wanted to spend less and less time with them? Well, that's kind of what it's like when people who are highly satisfied on a team decide to quit the team. In this session of Lead Young Institute, I'm going to give you some ideas of how to keep satisfied people on your team from quitting. I'm Alan Nelson. Welcome to Lead Young Institute. One of the graduate classes I used to teach at the University of Southern California was a class called Human Capital Performance and Motivation. It looked at a lot of the different theories of why people do what they do based on research. In this session today of Lead Young Institute, I'm going to talk about one of those models. It's called Herzberg's Two-Factor Theory. Let me explain how it works. Remember when you were a child riding on a teeter-totter at the playground? It was a long plank, and one person would sit on one end and another person would sit on the other end. What happened, though, is that when you would sit on your end, it would go down like this. And the other person, they would sit on their side and it would go down like this. The problem is as if one of you was heavier than the other. Maybe it was a parent or an older sibling, and it would always lean toward that direction. It's a simple element of balance. Well, that's what a lot of people think job satisfaction is. You're either satisfied or you're dissatisfied. They have sort of one way of looking at it. But an American psychologist named Frederick Herzberg, he had a different idea because he realized that you could both like things and not like things at the same time. It looked kind of like this. You've probably had a number of opportunities to do customer satisfaction surveys. It's kind of like this idea that you've got one continuum, one line, and you have to answer the question, how satisfied are you? So maybe it's an Uber driver. Do you want to give them 1 star, 2 stars, 3 stars, 4 stars, or 5 stars, meaning you were really satisfied? A lot of times companies do the same thing with their employees. They ask them questions like, how satisfied are you at your work? He decided to come up with this two-factor element, two-factor theory, that really had one continuum that measured satisfaction levels and a second one that measured dissatisfaction levels. Meaning that many times we can find things we really like about a job or like about being on a team, but at the same time there are other things that we don't like about being on the team and don't like about the job. For example, he said on satisfaction, there are internal motivators. There are things that really bring fulfillment that we like. These tend to be inside of us. They're called intrinsic. But at the same time, there may be some other things that we're dissatisfied. He referred to these as hygiene, and they tended to be external, extrinsic. These would create a sense of dissatisfaction, even though at the same time, we had an element of satisfaction. Let me give you some examples of this. In terms of satisfaction, motivators, things that are internal or intrinsic to us, may be our fit in our role, our talent. We're able to use our gifts and our strengths and our passions. Maybe it's relationships. We really enjoy the people on the team or the people we work with. Or maybe we're passionate about our cause, or maybe we really enjoy and value the culture of our company and what it stands for. These are all satisfaction issues, and these, he said, typically aren't going to increase or decrease significantly. You're probably going to find a job or a company that have to bring these, that match these. He said, but at the same time, there are dissatisfaction issues, hygiene, external issues, such as pay or workspace or the commute or childcare or flex hours or perhaps time off. These are the things, he said, you need to address first so that you decrease the dissatisfaction and then later, if possible, work on increasing the satisfaction. Let me give you an example. Let's just say that you work for a company and you're passionate about their interest in helping the ecology and reducing their carbon footprint, or you really like the environment you work with. You feel like you're in a good fit. But let's say that the commute is an hour each way. And let's say that you have a child and you have to find childcare. So childcare is expensive and they don't pay you enough, and the childcare facilities are a long way from where you work. So it's not that you can increase your satisfaction with your job. You already like your job. It's just that if you made more money, or if you could work at home more, or if perhaps they give you some budget to help with your child care, it would really decrease the dissatisfaction. The point is that you have team members who are kind of in that situation. There are a lot of things they like about being on the team, but maybe there are just a few things that you could address as the leader that would reduce their dissatisfaction. That allows them to stay on the team. It allows you to retain really good talent, and it helps you understand that satisfaction is not just a one-line continuum, but it involves various aspects of that. That's Herzberg's two-factor theory on motivation. So again, here's an overview. Number one, satisfaction isn't a single response. It's far more complicated than that. Number two, try to align people with what they enjoy about the team. That way you can tap into their internal, intrinsic motivation. And three, you want to try to reduce dissatisfying factors, things in the environment, things that are extrinsic that you as a team leader can address more effectively. Think about that teeter-totter. You don't necessarily need to add more satisfaction if you want it to tip in your direction. Just take away some of the dissatisfying factors. I'm Alan Nelson. I hope that if you enjoy these videos that you will hit like, hit subscribe, and until we meet again, lead on.